Python is one of the most widely used programming languages. It is also used for rapid prototyping as well as creation of production ready software. Usage of Android mobile has highly increased nowadays. So, having a user friendly and reliable app serving the requirements of end customers is very much necessary. We need a framework to build these Android applications. In the Python programming language, we can use Kivy framework in order to serve this purpose. Kivy is a Python GUI tool that works on any platform. It can run on Android, iOS, Linux, and Windows. It is mostly used to create Android applications, but it may also be used to create desktop applications as well. Using this, we are now going to learn how to develop a calculator app with basic functionalities like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. Isn't it exciting to know more about this? Then why wait? Let's quickly start learning how to create a calculator application using Kivy in Python. If you haven't subscribed for our channel yet, I would request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bell so that you don't miss any new updates or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoy this video, show us some love and do like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure you comment on this video any queries or suggestions. I'll be more than happy to respond to all of them.
Let me very clear give you an idea that what kind of app it would be. So as we have out the normal calculators onto our devices, you have in your Android phones, and okay, take the complete idea of a calculator which is in the Android phone. Okay, so in that same type of calculator, today we'll be making up with the help of this Kivy library. Right, so hope I'm first of all very much clear regarding the idea. So what will be happening? There will be a box, a rectangular box we'll be having up, and with the help of that, inside that box only, we'll be having different buttons. Okay, so on each and every button, the respective number or the respective sign will be mentioned up. So with that respective thing, whatever number you click or whatever the sign you click, and after that, when you're going to click up the equal to button, so you'll be getting up the required operation. Let's say you want to add 1000 and 5000. So you write out 1000, you put out the plus operator, you write out 5000, and you click on the equal to button. So it will give you the final addition of both of the numbers, and that is 6000. Okay, so rather than addition, you'll be having addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. These will be signs which you'll be having out, right? So hope I'm first of all very much clear with this respective thing, that what are our requirements for this particular project and how we'll be proceeding on for making up the calculator app in the Kivy library. Even I would recommend you that start writing out the project with me, start writing out the code with me right here only, because it would be a little bit of longer code. It is not too much short, it would be somewhat around a longer code. So start writing out with me the respective code. Okay, so what I will be doing is that first of all I'll be importing up the relevant libraries which I am having. Okay, so from first of all everything will be imported up from the Kivy library, right? So I wrote from Kivy.app. Okay, this Kivy is my library onto which we are working, right? And basically there are sub modules, sub libraries inside this particular Kivy library. So whatever the respective thing you want to import it out, whatever the respective thing you want to use out from there, you are always like you could just use out those respective things from wherever place you just want out. Okay, let's say from Kivy.app, what I want to import is that I am making up an app here, right? I'm making up an app. So I really want to import out the app function only. So for importing out any other relevant function, the very first thing that needs to be followed up is that you actually need to mention up that from which library you are importing out, and then what you are importing out, that is as well to be mentioned up here, right? So hope I am very much clear with this particular thing to you first of all, right? That from Kivy.app import app. Okay. Next, as I told you, see, we are making up an app. That's the reason I imported out this app function here. Okay. Now, next goes that what I want is that I'll be using up a button. Okay, those buttons will be what are the numbers I'll be putting, all those numbers will be stored in that buttons, and I'll be having a equal to button. I'll be having the operators, that operators will as well be in the form of buttons. So in calculator, what we have different sort of buttons, right? We just click on that buttons and just perform our relevant operation. So in that same manner, here as well, I will be mentioning up different types of buttons, and according to that only we will be having up the things. Okay. So here goes that from Kivy dot UIX dot button. From Kivy dot UIX dot button. Here goes import, and this is my button function which I want to import it out. So that perspective I have as well imported out here. Fine. Great. In the very starting of the introduction for this particular project only, I told you that what we'll be having a box, right? Inside that particular box we'll be having many types of buttons, and that will be basically helping us to calculate out or to find out the respective operations on the numbers, right? So in that same manner we'll be importing up the box layout as well. Okay, so here goes from qb.uix dot box layout. Okay, from qb.uix dot box layout import, and what I'll be importing, I will be importing up the box layout function. So this is how we do, right? This is how we do. Okay, while writing up of the things, please make sure that you are actually paying a good attention towards the small and towards the caps. Okay, it's very much important here to make sure that you are very much paying attention towards the small and the caps. Okay, great. So from Kivy.uix, you just imported up the box layout function, right? Great. Now, okay, what I'll be doing is that I'll be importing out one new type of layout here, that's the grid layout. Okay, remember when I told you about the layout onto the PPT that we had seen? So there I introduced you to 7 types of layouts, right? So from those 7 types of layouts, box and the grid. These are the 2 most used layouts which you have in the Kivy library, okay? So into this respective project, I am importing up the box layout, and as well as I will import up the grid layout. Now, what's the use of the grid layout? See, we will be having different buttons, right? So what we'll be wanting is that we'll be wanting that equal number of rows and the equal number of columns, okay? And columns and rows, what they constitute? They constitute out a grid. So inside the calculator only, we'll be making up a grid, and according to the places onto that grid, we'll be setting up the buttons onto which the numbers would be written out. Okay. So for that particular thing, I would be writing again here that from Kivy dot uix dot, and here goes the grid layout. Grid layout import. Okay, that is import, and that is import grid layout, right? So from kivy.uix.grid layout import grid layout. So now make sure that for the grid layout, G and L would remain capital. Okay, please make sure you do out that respective thing. Great. Next, what I'll be doing is that next one more thing I'll be importing up here, that's the label. So whenever you just want to write out anything onto that calculator or anything like that, so we use up the label function. So here goes that from Kivy dot uix dot label. From Kivy dot uix dot label import this label function. Okay, L would be capital for the label, right? One second. So LABEL right here. Okay, so all my requirements which I was having for this respective project have been imported out by me here. The requirements were, first of all, I am making up an app, so it was really very compulsory for me to import on the app function. So that I have done at the very first place only, right? Rather than that, what you're having first of all a box, right? So my box layout function has been imported. Next, I was having a grid inside that box. So grid layout is as well being imported. Third thing, what I was having up a button. So whatever the buttons will be putting up, buttons will be the numbers. So all the numbers will be writing up into the buttons format. So buttons have been imported. And after that, we will as well be wanting out a place where we'll be writing up whatever the numbers we click on, and whatever the operation we are performing, we as well want to see out the result. So for that particular thing, label is the function which has been imported out here, right? So hope I'm very much, first of all, very much clear with the requirements that are to be used in this particular project. Next, what I'll be following up here is that now I'll be wanting up a calculator, right? I'll be making up a class, right? So class, and my class name is, let's say, calculator. Okay, CUL calculator. Fine, my class name is, let's say, calculator. And inside the bracket, you put on here as a variable, which is app. Fine. Because I am making up my respective class, in that I would be needing to put up the respective name. Okay, and inside that app would be absolutely passed because we are making up a app. Next what I'll be doing is that I'll be making up a function def, and my function name is build. Okay, and inside the bracket itself will automatically be passed out here. Right, this is the particular thing now that I will be needing up here. Great. Next, I'll be coming up downside here, and what I'll be setting is that I'll be now setting up different widgets. Okay, different what type of box layout you want, and what will be the label size, and all these things I'll be, what are your button symbols. So these respective things I will be now mentioning up. I'll be specifying out my relevant specifications which I have for this respective calculator app. Okay. So I'll be writing out here widget WID widget underscore root, my variable name. Okay, that will be set on as equal to the box layout like this. Okay, widget underscore root is equal to box layout. Now into the bracket, what I'll be doing is that I'll be setting up a orientation. Now what is this orientation for? Orientation, I'll be setting up that, okay, whatever the thing, like my box is of the format, I want my box format to be in this respective way. Okay, so okay, that's the orientation, and my orientation which I'll be setting up is in the vertical format. Okay, vertical format. So that's absolutely okay. If you want to put on the horizontals, yeah, you could do, no issues from my side. But you actually know what's the difference between the vertical and horizontal, and which will be set out as a good orientation for your calculator app. Okay, so that's the reason I just simply put on my vertical orientation. Getting down, what I'll be doing is that I'll be setting up a label. Okay, so for that label, I'll be setting up some x and y values, right? So some y value, some size value, and some font size. So here goes label underscore op, that's the label underscore output, and here goes my label function which has been imported above. Right, so label, and into the bracket I'll be putting up here the variable that is size underscore hint underscore y, and that's equal to, let's say, value which I'm putting is 0.75. Okay, this is the size of y. Next what I'll be putting up here is the font size. So font underscore size, let's say my font size is 51. Okay, I just put that out. Great. So these is like respective things have been mentioned up by me. Now what's the next thing that comes up here? See, we have a very fixed layout for the calculators, right? Like 1, 2, 3 in one single row, then 4, 5, 6 in another row, then 7, 8, 9 in another row. And whatever the like label we are having, you could set that according to your choice. Okay, see how I'm gonna set that out. I would write symbol underscore button. The symbol underscore button is equal to, now I'll be storing that in a form of a tuple. Okay, let's say first of all I put on 1, separated by a comma I put on 2, separated by a comma I put on 3, separated by a comma. First of all I'll putting this space as blank here. Okay, comma, and getting down. Okay, here goes my 4, and space, here goes my 5, and here goes my 6. This one as well will be remaining like this only. Putting up a comma and getting down. After 6 I am having 7. Next I am having up here as 8, and here we are having as 9. Okay, separated by a comma, and it goes up like this. Again, I will be putting up a comma here, and here will be going my number, which is 0. If I want actually, okay, 0 goes out here, comma, I will be keeping this as blank. I'll be keeping this, okay, yeah, this as blank, comma, I'll be keeping this as blank. Now, why I have just set all of these things blank, because these are my buttons, these are my places where I will be setting up the operators. Okay, that which operator, what to follow, and all those things, right? So now in that case, what I will be doing is that I will be setting up the different things for these operators as well. Right here, let's say above I want to set up the operator which is plus. Okay, let's say here I want the multiplication. Okay, let's say here I want out the dot, that's a decimal. Okay, let's say here I want to put up this division operator, right? Okay, subtraction right here, and this will be a equal to sign. What will be this equal to sign for? It will be basically when we click out this equal to sign, it will give me the answer for the operation which I have performed out. Which means that, let's say I added 2 plus 2. So what's 2 plus 2? It's 4. So when you want to see up the what's the addition of 2 and 2, so in that respective case you'll be clicking up this equal to sign, and it will let you know that okay, this is the respective output for, or this is the, you could say, addition for 2 and 2. Okay, hope I'm clear with that. Great, that has been made up. Now what I am left with to design in my calculator. See, the functions will be separately written out. Right now we are only and only designing out our calculator. That how is the design gonna be for my calculator. Afterwards I would be adding all of the relevant things which I would be having out. Okay, right here. Now I'll be making up a grid underscore button. So while this grid will be made, so as to basically set up the proper row and column, right? So as to set out the proper row and column, I'm using this grid. Fine. So here goes my grid layout function which we have imported above. Okay. Now what about how many columns we are having? So 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm having 4 columns. Okay. And okay. Now here goes the size underscore hint underscore y. So let's say that I'm setting up here as 2. So the size will be going as 2, right? Great. Now next thing what I need to do is that whatever the symbols, whatever the numbers, or whatever the operators I have mentioned up here, I want all of those respective operators to be printed on one single button, right? I want that out. Right now, if I just run out my program, it will simply display 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and the relevant operators. But no, I don't want out that particular thing. What I want is that I want that whatever the numbers I have set out here, I want all of them to appear over the buttons, to appear on the buttons actually, right? So for that, I will be applying up a for loop. So here goes that for okay, let's say for symbol in symbol underscore button. For symbol in symbol underscore button, putting up a colon here, getting down. Here I will be writing that grid underscore button variable which have been made out by me, onto which what I had set out the grid layout. So grid underscore button dot add underscore widget. This will completely help me to add on the relevant things. And here goes my button. And inter bracket, what will be my text? So my text will be the loop which we had set on, and this is the symbol. Okay, symbol will be my text, because this is a like sort of indexing which we are taking, right? So here I am simply mentioning up symbol, right? So it will completely help me to put on all of those respective operators or the numbers onto the buttons which will be generated here. So in total, for each and every operator and for each and every number, button will be made up, right? Great. I hope I'm very much clear with that. Okay, next thing what we'll be having, we as well, okay, everything is set up here in this respective calculator. I have the operators, I have the numbers. Now what is left in this particular calculator to be added out? Is there anything left out? Yes, one thing is still left out here, and that's my clear button, CE button, which you see in the calculators, right? That's the clear button. So we will as well be adding that clear button onto our particular calculator app. So let's do that out. Okay, here I'll be making up the variable that's button underscore clear. Okay, and that will be equal to okay, here I'll be using up that button function inside the bracket. What text will be written? So text, let's say I want the text to be written as CE because that's the only one which makes up the things clear, right? Beyond the calculator, it's written out CE. So let's do that out. I'll be writing up CE here, fine. Comma. What is the size underscore hint underscore y? So that I'm setting up right now, here is none. That's not needed. And what will be the height? So let's say height I'm setting up as 100. Fine. That specifications I have given up here. Now next what I'll be doing is that I'll be making different functions to store out different things. Def. Now, okay, my function will be text underscore print underscore button. Text underscore print underscore button. Fine. And inside that, let's say I pass on a like a parameter, you call it as instance. Fine. So text print button, one of my variables. What it will do? It will help me to put on the text, right? So here goes my label underscore op. That's my label underscore output dot. Here goes my text is equal to, okay, that's plus equal to, plus equal to, and here goes the instance dot text. Okay, see here what is actually happening. So in my label underscore op, what did I store out? Let's go above and check that out. See, what did I give out? I give out the label here, right? That this will be the label, like a size for the y, and this will be the font size. Now, whatever the operations or whatever the numbers or whatever the operators I will be clicking up, those respective operators will print it on the above label. Above label means above space, which will be provided to us in the calculator. So for that particular thing, as soon as I click on, let's say I click on the button which is 3, I clicked on 3. So above there will be a rectangular space present, and onto that rectangular space, what I'll be getting, that 3 will be displayed to me onto that respective place, right? So hope I'm very much clear with this particular thing to you, that how it is actually gonna be. Fine. Great. That has been set up instant.text, and this particular line is actually like it's actually the one that's label underscore op dot text is equal to label underscore op dot text plus instant dot text. Okay, it's similar to that only. Great. Fine. Now here I will be applying out my for loop. So for one line down, here goes for button in button underscore okay, that's grid underscore button. So for button in grid underscore button dot, and here goes the function which is children. Okay, into the bracket what I'll be putting is 1 colon. See, what it is gonna do is that whatever the things we will be having, whatever the things, like let's say I just clicked on a button, I pressed on a button. So whatever the number will be present on that particular button, it will come and appear onto the above label, above blank space which is present. So for that we are writing up this out. Okay. And next basically what I'll be having out here only is that I'll be writing up here button dot bind. Remember I told you bind function in the previous project only. Bind is basically used for setting up a thing, right? So here goes on underscore press, that's equal to text underscore print underscore button. So as soon as you put on or press on a simple button, whatever the buttons will be present there, as soon as you press on that respective button, whatever the text is there, that would come and mention up on the blank space above, right? So hope I'm very much clear with that. Great. Now how to set up the size, like what's the font size there? Fine. So for that I'll be making up a new variable, that is def label underscore text underscore size, my variable name. Okay, that's okay, not that is the def. Fine. Now inside the bracket, first of all I'll be passing up the label, comma, what I'll be passing, I'll passing up a variable that is new underscore height. Great. Getting down here, I'll be using up simply label, the one which I have up right above used out. Label dot. Here goes my font size. Label dot font size. That's equal to right here 0.5 multiplied by, here goes a label dot, and here goes my height. Okay, 0.5 multiplied by label dot height. Great. Okay, that instead of height, I guess it would be new underscore height, the one which we have used above. Right? Okay, let that be height only, I guess. 1 second for height. Fine. Great. Now getting down here at this particular place, what I'll be doing is that I will be writing up here um, label underscore op, label underscore op dot bind dot bind, and into the bracket what I'll be writing? I'll be writing up the HEI height is equal to, what will be the height? That will be label underscore text underscore size. The bracket won't be put up here and neither here as well, I guess. Yeah, brackets won't be there. Great. So we set it out our size for the email, for the text which has to be written above onto that respective case. We just set out a size, right? Now, next what is basically we'll be doing up here is that now we'll be making up a function, and that will help us to evaluate whatever is written onto that label. Let's say we wrote 4 plus 4. So now it will, that particular function will help us to evaluate that result and give you the final output, right? So in that case, def, and let's see result. Result is my function name. Into the bracket, I'll be passing simply the instance. Getting down here, now I'll be using the try and except functions. Okay, try and except. I goes here, that label underscore op dot text, okay, is equal to, I'm using up str, I'm using the eval function which helps you to evaluate out, right? Eval into the bracket. Now what I'll be having label underscore op dot text. Fine. So what it will help me to do is that it will help me to evaluate whatever is written into this respective variable, which is label underscore op. It will help me to get out a text from there and help me to evaluate. Let's say I wrote 6 multiplication 4. So this eval function will help me to evaluate out that particular thing, right? Great. Next, what I'll be doing here is that I will be having out the except function. So except, and I would simply mention up except instead of that I would write except exception as E. Okay, E would be capital right here as E. Fine. Getting down here, and now I'll be simply printing up the E in that case. Okay, so if any exception occurs, that relevant exception would come to us as an output. And after this, what I will be doing is that I'll be using up the button. So here goes grade underscore button dot ca dot children. That is the one function which we used up above. Into the bracket, I'll be setting up here as 0. Indexing start from the 0. Okay, dot. Here goes my bind function which helps me to click up the button, right? Bind. And here goes that on underscore press is equal to, on press is equal to, and that is my result function, right? So as soon as basically the things work out, in that case it will be getting me the result. If basically we are having the try, if the try function try block executes, it will show me up the result, right? Great, that has been set it up. Okay, now what I'll be doing is that I'll be making up a here only a clear button has been made up, right? Only we made up a button clear. Now we need to write out a function to basically to work that clear button as well, right? So here goes def, here goes label underscore clear. Inside the bracket goes here the instance. Fine. Putting up a colon. 1 second. Let me see above that. What's the name that was written? Button underscore clear. Fine. Okay. So here goes label underscore op dot text. And now we do not need any text because we want to clear up that space, right? And now here goes my respective variable that was button underscore clear. So it was button underscore clear. Okay, 1 second. Button underscore clear dot. Here goes again my bind function, bind, and inside the bracket on underscore press is equal to, and that's the label underscore clear. So as soon as I press out this button underscore clear, as soon as whatever is written up here, that gets executed. Simply come to this particular function and execute out this particular function. This is what this code means, the short chunk of the code means, which I have written out here, right? So hope I'm very much clear with this particular thing. And at last, simply the widgets are to be added out. Other than that, we just finish up everything. Once again, brackets are to be removed out. Fine. Getting down here, I'll be adding up the widgets. So it's, let's say, root. Okay, it's widget underscore root. We already made it over. Okay. Dot add underscore widget. And into the bracket, first of all goes my label underscore op. Next goes again the widget underscore root dot add underscore widget dot add underscore widget, and into the bracket it goes grid underscore button, right? Next, what is my widget which just need to be added? Widget underscore root dot add underscore widget, and into the bracket what it is? It's basically the button underscore clear, right? Button underscore clear. Fine. And now what to return out here? Simply you need to return up the widget underscore root. Widget underscore root has to be returned out here. And now after coming out of my class, what has to be made? Simply what was my class name? My class name was calculator only. Calculator dot run. So now basically here my run function will be performed up very clearly, right? Now what I would do is that I would take you above to this respective project once, explain you the complete one, and then we'll be running this out. That at what place what I have done out here, right? So for the very first thing, I have imported my all of the relevant libraries and my modules and my functions which are to be made up here, which are required in this respective project. Okay. So I imported up the app, I imported the button, I imported the box layout, I imported the grid layout, and even I imported up the label. So these will all respective functions, so you say modules, whatever you say out, these respective things were necessary into my project. So I have imported all of them. Then here goes making one of my classes, that is the calculator class. Okay, and inside that app was passed this respective module. Okay. Next, I made up a function that is build. Okay, and inside the bracket, I put up self, right? Make sure you write out this particular only. Don't change the name of the function, okay? Then, I set it out my box layout, that the orientation for my box I want to be vertical. Fine. I set out the label size, that this will be label size and this will be the font size. I put on the symbol buttons, that onto the buttons. What will be the symbols that will be present out. After that, I made up a grid inside that box, which will be having 4 columns, right? Next, for putting up the symbols onto respective buttons onto one single button, I used up this particular for loop. Then I made up a clear button so that whatever the text you have written afterwards, if you just want to clear that out, so you could just clear that quickly. So for that, the CE button was made out, above which CE was written. Now this is the one of the particular functions which will help you to print out the text onto the buttons, right? Next, for this particular for loop for button grid button, this will help you to print up the whatever the button has been clicked on. It will help you to print that particular text onto your label place where it has to be showed up. Okay, onto the above blank space, I would say. Then this next thing was as well the font size, that what will be the font size which will be printed onto the label. What will be the font size for that? Fine. Then this is the result function which will help you to get the output, and this output will be getting through the eval function. So eval function will relatively evaluate whatever is the operation done, whatever is the statement written, it will evaluate out. If basically the try block runs, then you'll be getting your output, and if the except block runs, so in that case you get out your relevant exception. Then basically the grid button is as well made out, that when you press up this respective result, what you get out. Okay. Next here you made up that clear button. Simply above the button was made out. Here the code has been written for to be executed, that as soon as you press on that clear button, so what you want to get as an output. So whatever is written, you want that to be erased out, right? and on press the label underscore clear button, just erase out whatever is written. And now the widgets have been added. Widgets, what were these? These were the special GUI tools which you add in your code. So widgets have been added up here, and simply here goes written widget underscore root, and here I simply made run out my respective class into which I have written all of the code for making up my calculator app. Now what I'll be doing is that I'll be running this out quickly. So run on calc. So, okay, these things, whatever were mentioned up here, these things I will actually execute out. These things will come, okay? So, please do not worry in such a case that I'm giving errors or anything like that. Whenever you are running up the Kivy library, whenever you are using up the Kivy library, actually, these things come, okay? So, we have to actually wait out a little bit for getting up the respective output, whatever we are having, okay? This library actually takes up a little bit of time to get executed and give you the resultant output. So right here, okay, it came down there. I just clicked on that. Great. So this is how my calculator is actually looking out. See, it's my plus sign, it's multiplication, it's dot, it's equal to minus, divide, 0, 1, 2, 3, everything is present. And this is my CE button. Let's say I wrote out here 2. I clicked on 2 and see what is happening. This 2 is appearing up here. Let's say I wrote 2 multiplication. I clicked on multiplication sign and multiplication is coming. And let's say I wrote out 8 here. Find the 2 multiplication 8. And if I press on the equal to sign, see what it is coming? It is coming 16, right? And now if I click on CE, so whatever I wrote, that simply got out erased. Fine. Let's do that once more. Let's say I wrote 470. Okay, let's say 470 and I wrote out here plus. And let's say I worked on, let's say this, okay, and I click on equal to sign. So I simply got out the addition for the numbers, whatever we had made out. And I would again do CE and whatever I had written, that simply got erased out, right? So this is how you will make out a calculator app in the Kivy library with the help of Kivy library. Okay. Let's quickly test out rest of the remaining operators as well, that are they working correctly or not. Let's say I wrote 9.6. Okay, 9.6 multiplication is done minus let's say 8.2. Okay, and if I just do CE, so see, I just get out a very exact output here, right? Up to somewhat up to many decimal places as well, right? I would again click CE and 1 is where that is division. Let's say 5 divided by 9, and here goes the equal to sign. This is somewhat which is the your output for 5 divided by 9, 0.555 somewhat. Okay, and I click on C. Right, so hope I'm very much clear. And one thing right here is as well needed out to be explained, that okay, instead of this equal to sign, if you just want to put on some other thing as well, so you could do that out. Okay, you could do that particular thing as well if you want to change this out. Let's say instead of this, I simply put on O/P. 1 second. O/P. Okay, that will as well work out. I would just again click on the run here. That's getting run, and right here it is my, see here I get out my OP. Okay, okay. One more thing, this Kivy library takes only one time, the very first time only, to execute in a little late manner. After that, when you are going to execute out the same project, it will execute it very fastly. So let's say I just do out somewhat same thing, multiplication 21, and I click on OP. So yeah, that's working, and I click on CE. Great, so hope I'm very much clear with this particular thing to everyone. That's how it actually works out, right? I would close this out. So wherever I use out this on underscore press function, so that respective is actually helping me to click on that particular buttons and execute out the relevant functions for those buttons, right? So please make sure that you like write out this respective things very much clearly. Okay, one more thing was left, orientation, right? Instead of vertical, what if I set it as horizontal? So horizontal, my orientation, let's say, is horizontal, and I again run that out. See what is going to happen out here. See, this is why I was saying not to set out as horizontal. See, now you are not getting anything looked up here, right? You are not getting anything as an output or nothing like that. See how it is working, right? It's miserable, right? So in that respective case, I was saying not to put up the orientation as the horizontal. Simply the orientation has to be vertical, because in that respective case, you'll be getting up all the numbers and everything very much clearly, whatever has been set out by you. Right, so vertical will actually work out fine. Okay, one thing has to be done up here is that it just to be new underscore height, right? This thing was actually to be mentioned up by me, and if I just run that out, I hope that, okay, I hope I got out some label as no attribute. Okay, yes, that is not to be actually mentioned up here. I would remove that because it's one of the attributes parts which we are using, right. It's one of the attributes that we are using. So you can't change this height to new underscore height. Okay, please make sure to remember out this particular thing as well. So now I'm going to run this at the very last time, and after that we'll be moving toward the next project. So let's say this and this and this, and here goes my output, right? And here goes my CV. Okay. So I hope that you're very much clear that how to add up the things, how to make up a calculator. Now into this you could have add many more functions of your choice. You could write anything according to your choice. Let's say here you were having a button of CE. Your equal to button is present out. Let's you want to add on the percentage operator. What are the operators you want to add on? You can add them according to your choice. See, this was a clear idea which I gave you out that okay, this is the way how you could make out a calculator. Now, what the specifications you could add, what more things you could add, that completely depends on you only. Right? Fine. How much more features you could add onto this respective I would say respective calculator app, and what more things you could do, that all are your choice only. Fine. One more thing here, whatever the class name you are gonna make out, that respective class name is gonna come as a final output. See above onto that Kivy library, just besides the sign of the Kivy, it's basically gonna come out that particular class name. Okay, so please make sure whatever the number you are giving, whatever the class name you are mentioning out, that would be coming up as the name for your particular window that's gonna appear from the Kivy library. Right, so hope I'm very much clear with the this particular app of the calculator app, that how to make that out with the help of the Kivy library.
If you haven't subscribed for our channel yet, I would request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on notification bell so that you don't miss any new updates or video releases from Great Learning. If you enjoy this video, show us some love and do like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, so make sure you share this video with your friends and colleagues. Make sure you comment on this video. Any queries or suggestions, I'll be more than happy to respond to all of them.